Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. Episode 13 of the Attitude Era review series, Rock Bottom 1998. The final pay-per-view of 98, guys. Get a shot of that. So we would see a buried alive match, Austin and Taker. Mankind versus The Rock for the WWF Championship. A rematch from Survivor Series 98, which Foley was screwed out of the championship there. 20,042 in attendance. This took place on December 13th, 1998 at the GM Place in Vancouver, British Columbia. Not the best show overall. This was at a very transitional period, like I've been saying over the past 12 episodes, where they're finally into gear. They're finally ahead in the Monday Night Wars. They're establishing new stars in Austin and Rock and Mankind. And now, heading into 99, they're definitely moving forward very rapidly, and they're gaining a lot of traction. So, first match of the night, we got Val Venus and The Godfather versus Mark Henry, Sexual Chocolate, and D'Lo Brown there with PMS, Terry Runnels, and Jacqueline. Overall, a standard tag team match. D'Lo Brown ends up missing a lowdown there, and during the match, the ladies are getting into it. Some of Godfather's ladies and Terry and Jacqueline are getting into it. Jacqueline ends up slapping Val Venus. Mark Henry hits the big splash for the win. So, a decent match there. So we see clips from Heat now, Sunday Night Heat, where Mankind attacked The Rock. And in the match, the contract for the match here we're going to have tonight, they said that if Rock is unable to compete, Mankind will win the title by forfeit. So now we are back live with Vince, Shane, and The Rock. And they'll show this a few times throughout the show. Second match of the night, we got the Headbangers versus Kurgan and Golga of the Oddities. Standard back and forth match. Golga, who is the former Earthquake, goes for the Earthquake, sit down, bounces off the ropes. I believe it was Mosh comes off the top rope for a crossbody, hitting the 3 count. Headbangers end up winning, which is kind of weird because he would have been the illegal man here, and it really doesn't matter. And during this time period in 98, Shawn Michaels was the new commissioner a couple weeks prior to this. So, third match of the night. I thought this was a pretty good match here. Owen Hart versus Steve Blackman. Crazy pop for Owen here in Canada. Owen starts the match off with fists flying, hits a few enziguris, and Owen removes the turnbuckle pad, and Steve Blackman reverses the whip. Owen Hart does the Bret Hart spot where he goes chest first into the turnbuckle. Blackman puts the sharpshooter on Owen. Blackman ends up knocking Owen on outside. Owen just walks away for the count out. And Steve Blackman ends up winning here. So we go backstage again with Vince McMahon and Mick Foley, and they are in Mankind's office here, somewhere in the back in a little closet somewhere. And, come on in, Dad. Mick Foley is in a closet full of junk. And now we go on to the fourth match of the night. Job Squad versus The Brood. A good 6-man tag team match here. This was Too Cold Scorpio, Al Snow, and Bob Holly, who is no more Thurman Sparky plug. Al Snow gives Christian a head. Big hit with the head. Edge ends up diving onto Holly and Al Snow. Christian hits the Impaler on Too Cold Scorpio for the 3 count. Brood ends up winning the match. I love the Brood. And I thought this was a pretty decent 6-man tag. Jerry Lawler on commentary here. I got to mention, too, that during this time, I think a couple of weeks prior to this, might have been after Survivor Series, JR's mom had passed away here while he was overseas in England. He would not be on pay-per-view or on TV until, he might have been on Raw and that, but he wasn't on the pay-per-views until, I think, the main event of WrestleMania. So Michael Cole, who I couldn't stand at this time, was filling in for JR. I couldn't stand Michael Cole at this time. Jerry Lawler, like I was going to say, I need a JOB squad, or all kinds of job squad jokes. So we go back to backstage again, more clips from Mankind's office, and I like how they do that, threading the story throughout the show. I love how they do that. They don't do that anymore. Little clips, a minute clip here, a minute clip there. Very good. 5th match of the night, the striptease match between Goldust and Jeff Jarrett. If Goldust wins, then Deborah must, reveal the puppies. So the crowd is pumped up and fired up for this match. Up to this point, I would say this pay-per-view was a thumbs down, besides the Owen Hart and Steve Blackman match. The crowd was really into this. They knew what they were going to see. And also during the... might have been the... it was this match. Okay, so crowd is pumped. Goldust goes for the curtain call, hits a bulldog and sets up Shattered Dreams. But Deborah is in the ring. The referee is distracted with Deborah. Goldust hits Shattered Dreams on Jarrett. And then the ref is over there checking on Jeff Jarrett now. Goldust and Deborah are getting into it. Deborah hits Goldust with the guitar. And Jeff Jarrett hits his, finisher, which is the skull crushing finale. Not sure exactly what they called it. It's a forward face buster, and Jeff Jarrett gets the 3 count. Shawn Michaels comes out and reverses the decision. So Deborah takes off her top, takes off her bottoms, and Shawn Michaels is he's shaking, he's rolling up money and putting it in between the puppies. Shawn Michaels was a straight babyface here. The Blue Blazer and Jeff Jarrett come back out and they cover Deborah up and they get out of the ring. So that was a very fun match to watch. So Shawn Michaels was a pure babyface during that match. 6th match of the night. New Age Outlaws versus the Big Boss Man and Ken Shamrock with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is all of a sudden a heel again. This would be the Tag Team Championship match. Boss Man was the Hardcore Champion. Shamrock, the Intercontinental Champion. So if Bossman and Shamrock won, the corporation would have almost every title here, except for the European, I believe. So Bossman and Shamrock making quick tags in and out, isolating Road Dogg. Billy Gunn finally tags in, hits a power bomb on Shamrock. HBK pulls the ref out, and Bossman hits both the Outlaws with the baton, the nightstick. Shamrock gets a 2 count, and Billy Gunn goes for the suplex, but HBK hooks Billy's leg. Billy ends up rolling out of it, reversing the pin for the 3 count. Outlaws retain the tag titles. Pretty cool match here. This was a fun tag team match. So we go backstage once again with Vince and The Rock saying, you know, Rock, don't worry, your title's safe. I got it all figured out. So Vince McMahon must have persuaded Foley at some point. 7th match of the night for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. The Rock versus Mankind. So before the match, Mankind cuts a promo, and he's saying, I want you to beg on your knees. And he's yelling at Vince, calling him dad and all that stuff. Pretty entertaining promo here by Mankind. So he ends up ripping the contract up, throwing it in Vince's face. Rock jumps the gun, attacks him. These guys battle in and out of the ring, on the announce table, off the announce table, up and down the aisle, in the ring, out of the ring. Rock hits a DDT on a chair, hits a corporate elbow for a 2 count. And Mankind hits a leg drop on The Rock. Mankind pile drives the referee. And we see a rock bottom on Mankind for a 2 count. Mankind ducks the belt shot by Shane McMahon. Shane hits The Rock with the title. Mankind hits the double arm DDT. Locks the Socko on Rock, and the ref rings the bell. Vince gets in the ring, says, okay, you won the match, but you didn't pin The Rock, and The Rock didn't submit, so The Rock is still the champion, which is kind of weird here, because I don't know why they wouldn't just jump the gun here and put the title on Mankind, but for whatever reason, they waited a couple more weeks and put the title on Mankind there. So, Mankind puts Socko on Vince, puts Socko on Shane. Shane hits Mankind with a chair, and he gets Socko. Shamrock and Bossman end up running in and taking care of business with Mankind. 8th match of the night. The main event, the Buried Alive match. Austin versus The Undertaker. So for those of you who have never seen the Buried Alive matches, they're not very technical. They're not, you know, your classic 5-star matches that you're going to see. And during Austin's entrance, Undertaker jumps the gun, meets Austin in the aisleway, and these guys are slugging it out right off the bat. They battle in and out of the ring. They tease the spot with the grave site and all that, and Undertaker grabs a can of gas, whacks Austin with it. They work back to ringside, and Taker gets a chair shot on Austin. They work back to the grave site, and Taker has the gas can again. Austin's in the grave now. So he uses the gas can a couple more times. Austin hits the stunner. Taker falls in the grave. And Austin is dumping wheelbarrows of soil onto Undertaker. Austin ends up going backstage now at this point, and Taker gets out of the grave. We hear a big explosion and smoke and everything's coming out of the grave. Kane pops out of the grave and he tombstones the Undertaker here. Puts him back in the grave. Or while he tombstones him, he kind of like falls in the grave here. And Austin is emerging with a backhoe 316, dumping a full, truckload of soil into the grave. Austin wins the match, and Austin is celebrating. Kane just kind of disappears at this point. Austin is celebrating with the ref, and this match was for the #1 contendership to enter the Royal Rumble. So it wasn't even for a title shot or anything. It was just to enter the Rumble. So overall, I don't know. This is a weird pay-per-view between Survivor Series and the Rumble. There wasn't much going on in this show. They had a few good matches, but overall, I don't know. Maybe a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 maybe. So our next episode will be Royal Rumble 99. Pretty good Rumble there. I always liked the Royal Rumble in 99. The I Quit match between Rock and Mankind. Austin and McMahon starting the Royal Rumble off. Pretty good Royal Rumble. That will be episode 14, guys. This has been Rock Bottom 98 review. Take some time. Subscribe to the channel. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.